Everybody. Today is Sunday, September 15th, 2024, and as you can see from the intro, I am doing a special past life, very special past life video on uh, honoring the question or examining the question of whether Joe Biden is the reincarnation of the father of our country, George Washington. So this is what my guys show me. Please take everything I say with a grain of salt. My guides are always right, but I could be wrong as a human. But nevertheless, I always want to say nothing is written in stone here. There can be alternative possibilities, but we're going to look at this because my guides were telling me, yes, this is who he was in one incarnation. Which I guess if you think about it, it makes perfect sense. So I'm not going to go into an elaborate history or biography of either men. What I want you to do, actually, I want you to research and put together your own uh, observations of what resonates between the two men and maybe what doesn't. But it was really incredible as I was given that information. And I saw these pictures of President Biden standing near portraits of George Washington, and there was such a synergy between them. It's very exciting to see that. It's like, oh my goodness, look at this. And I included some of that in the intro. So, what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be using tarot cards from the Sarah Marchetti Gilded Tarot, which can be found under the guise of the Easy Tarot if you want to look for it. Uh, then we're going to have an oracle card from the Sacred Earth Oracle deck by uh, Tony Carmine Salerno. And then, of course, there's a musical interlude at the end, as per usual. Okay, here we go. So the subject card for both of these men is strength. So the guides say that this is both men uh, putting uh, their service above their ego. Because when you're in power, there is so, absolute power corrupts absolutely, is what the saying is. There's so much um, temptation to exploit power or to not want to leave the seat of power. Of course, you have George Washington, who decided not to be called a regent or to be called Your Excellency or your Czar or whatever. He wanted to be called simply Mr. President. And then we see the same humility in President Biden. And uh, the second card given here is the Empress. So this is us. This is the United States. So he's putting his ego secondary to serving the United States, serving the people here, serving our democracy. This is his role with us. Above is the Ace of Cups. Again, here is compassion. This is uh, tuning into your to a higher love, bring humanity to a higher place. This is what your service is. In the past, for both of them, it admits great uh, uh, there was a lot of attack against them. There was a lot of uh, that play Hamilton. Because George Washington found was key in uh, forming our Constitution, and here's all this adversarial um, interrelation between all these different, very outspoken, powerful characters with different ideas, and there's uh, even I was reading earlier that with Washington, there was a huge amount of criticism from the press against him. And here we go, the same with Biden. And, uh, you have uh, all these attacks against Joe Biden with all his yeah, well, well, the Freedom Caucus, trying to obstruct everything that he's doing, student loans and aid to Ukraine, and uh, every single thing he tries to do, uh, gun control and LGBTQ rights, uh, and nevertheless, here we come, the Ace of Pentacles. He and his vice president, who's now running for president of the United States for the next election, get these major bills passed, the infrastructure bill, and there's just a whole uh, list of them, major legislation. One of the most successful presidents in history, despite the odds. And he also manages to bring bipartisan agreement despite this too. Yeah, and that includes the Senate, of course. So below we have the Eight of Pentacles. This administration quietly getting down to business. It's not all the hoopla and the hurrah that the last administration had, where there was a lot of bragging and bravado, etc., and God knows, but instead getting down to business, making huge progress in healing our democracy, healing what's been broken, and all, because the Trump's administration tried to destroy from the inside all the departments, like of education, and not all the departments of education, like the Department of Education, housing, etc., our FBI, our CIA, our relations with, the NATO, etc., inside and outside. But here we have this administration that is laser focused, and they're also focused on this. This is the Three of Wands here. Uh, Attacks from our potential, foreign interference in our elections, and what's going on with Israel and Netanyahu and the Middle East and God knows, all over the world. But this and this is really what the guides are showing me, protecting our own electoral process from interference on the cyber level, on every level. But this is a key eye on especially Russia, as well as China and Korea. And of course, lately there's been some huge light showing on, and action taken regarding foreign foreign interference, like RT in our elections. Um, and George Washington also was dealing with all this foreign. Uh, I don't. Well, revolution. He came by. He was our first president after the Revolutionary War, but there were always things to watch. There were always incursions being made inside and outside our country, or I don't want to say being made. I want to say the attempt to destabilize, especially a young democracy, if you think about it. So this is like a major uh, a focus of the work that this country has been doing, that Biden's administration has been doing, and what Washington's administration was doing. Uh, because we're so young, we're such a young democracy, really. So even now, so this is really essential to protect our democracies. We know, as we see, and continue amidst a lot of challenges. So in the future, both of these men, George Washington chose not to run for a third term, even though he could have. He was done. He was he thought, when by the time he left, he had two terms. He thought by the time he left, the Constitution seemed pretty stable, and that was his focus, a major part of his focus during his administration. And President Biden, yes, he wanted to stay, and the reason he wanted to stay, it wasn't for power or greed or whatever. It was the love of this. You see these cups, some of them are upright, some of them have fallen over. He wanted to see it through so he could make sure that uh, the government was on solid foundation, because I don't have the tower card here, but the attack on our government, not just the attempted coup itself, but from like, oh, before Trump even ran, what the incursions that Russia made and other countries into recruiting domestic terrorism from the inside, and buying politicians like I'm going to say like the Freedom Caucus, and uh, it's pretty serious. So, uh, and look at Project 2025. That is like outright the Republicans' Heritage Foundation saying, we're going to come in and we're going to undo all of this. We're going to undo all of the Constitution. We're going to take away all your rights, and we're going to reform from the inside out what your democracy is. So Joe Biden has been well aware of that, and he he loves our country so much, and the service to humanity, that it was a great sacrifice for him to choose to leave after the first term. He really wanted the second, but fortunately, he had Vice President Kamala Harris, who he felt was extremely competent and able to carry on. But it's very difficult for him to leave just because, um, of his heart, his desire to protect us. But he knew he made the higher choice, and he said to himself, it's not I alone. I'm not the only one who can fix this. And I believe in a higher power, and I believe in Kamala Harris and the other people who are going to come with her. And believe me, he's still going to be an advisor. He's still going to be very much part of the administration in his own way. Oh my God, he might be stepping back, but he's gonna be there as a constant. Um, because Kamala Harris and the other, all of our our whole administration, the Democrats. I'm assuming they're going to win. I do believe that they're going to win. I believe that Kamala Harris is going to be president, and Tim Walz will be vice president, and we'll have a Democratic Senate and Democratic Congress, uh, and it's going to be very exciting. But Biden will still be there. He might not be president anymore, but he's still definitely going to have an influence and be called upon, be an advisor. He's such an amazing man. Uh, and I do believe, reading, that when George Washington stepped down, people were really nervous. They felt that they really wanted him. Some people really wanted him to have a third term because they weren't sure how safe our democracy was, and they had so much faith in George Washington to defend the democracy. So the clarifying card in this reading, it is the star. And so George Washington and Joe Biden, they both have in common this role as a healer, to come in and heal uh, the what's been broken, what needs repair, and then not just healing like administration or legislation or whatever, but the hearts of the people. He comes in as like grandfather, father, who is bringing in nurturing and love, and that's how he's perceived. So the outcome cards here. This is the Ten of Pentacles. So, at least, Joe Biden, he left us with a fantastic uh, repair. We could bring in the healer here too, of our economy. He brings an abundance, infrastructure, student loans, etc., and also an intact constitution and intact government. Um, and I believe Washington probably left it's like leaving it better than you found it. Uh, yes, yes, of course. George Washington leaves us with the Constitution. He's the father of our democracy. And then justice is uh, also a description of the outcome, a factor in the outcome, which is both these men very focused on justice, on equality, on the need for human rights and uh, fairness. George Washington starts the process, and then here we have Joe Biden, carrying it on, uh, several hundred years later or whatever, uh, and shining the light on the truth. What is true? These men are, Washington obviously, is like our major hero in this country for being the first president of the United States, is remembered in this way, and Biden is going to be too. Okay. So that is my reading on or my past life study on the possibility of President Joe Biden being the reincarnation of George Washington. I don't think I did it justice today because there's so much to unearth, to compare and contrast, their marriages, their early lives, etc. So please go ahead, you do that. And let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm so curious. Did anybody already think this? Uh, it seems really obvious now, especially when you look at those portraits and the comparisons. It just kind of blew my mind. So we're going to move on to our oracle card reading. And the card from this beautiful deck is, this is the back of I love the backs of the decks as well as the fronts. I just think they're, really pretty. Um, it's ready but waiting. Plain meaning. There is no rush. Bide your time and be ready to act. Observe and build your stores of knowledge, energy, and resources. Resist being goaded to act before you're ready. You have not missed your chance. Prepare and be poised for an opportunity. Confidence is not being certain of success, it is being prepared to give something your best shot. The spiritual meaning here, that was the earthly meaning. You are protected by a higher power, and that is why everything seems to have come to a standstill. It is said that there's a time, reason, and season for everything under the sun. And this is true. When the time is right, all will clear and things will progress easily. For now, patience is needed. The time is coming closer. Ready but waiting. Okay, you guys, I hope you enjoyed that reading. I want to tell everybody available for personal readings. Anything I read on anything in the present, past, future. I'm a medium. I love to introduce you to your guardian angels, and I read on past lives. Um, my information is down in the description box below, and at the end of the musical interlude that I hope you stick around for. I hope you have a beautiful day. Okay, you take care. Bye bye.